Folks, we're back. This is Michael Jaws, joined by Michael Schweidel on the Why Not Us podcast. I should probably say Why Not Us with a lot more enthusiasm because I think we're joining this episode with the most Why the hell not us energy. It's just been a whirlwind of the past couple months for the both of us, and I think the leading cause of that is sports, and we're going to break it down today. But first and foremost, this is also the first time I've talked to my friend in a while. So, Mike, how are you, man?
Dude, fucking great to see you, man.
Good to see you.
I am phenomenal. I am riding the high of life. Some people say there's highs and lows. I don't think I'm ever going to come down from this. Just going to stay on top because being on top and being on the high is pretty fucking awesome.
It's pretty good.
Sports rock. Being a dude rocks. Being a dude that likes sports rocks. And there's not much more that I could ask for in my life that I don't have right now.
The obvious one being the Florida Gators. We'll get to that soon, very soon, because wow, we just won a championship. This is the first pod we've done since winning the championship, right?
Correct. This is the first time that we have a ring on our finger. We're national champions.
Wow.
Let's soak that in together for maybe the first time. I'm sure we've called each other, but
well, yeah, obviously we've called each other. We've talked about it a ton, not with an audience. And yeah, first year on the pod, both champions. Not gonna lie, liked being the only one with the title, but happily will share this honor of wearing a ring with you, Michael. I mean, so the NFL draft just happened. It's a Thursday. It kind of was good timing. We're just in the middle of sports galore. I forgot how much I liked this week. I was watching the Monday night hockey and basketball games. All 5 or 6 were just close games, electric. The NBA is like the sport among all that when you get into the playoff time, the product is just a gazillion times better. Those guys are just incredible. We're actually watching the Thunder come back on the Grizzlies, who they had this game. I think John Morant's still hurt, but yeah, great sports time of year, Mike. I think we're taking full advantage again.
I think that this podcast forced us to prepare for how awesome the stretch of whoa, Super Bowl's over, football's over, what are we going to do? I think we were not in a panic, but what are we going to do? And it's, good thing we had the Florida Gators because that's what we did.
Yes.
But we have had, since football ended, Florida Gators win a national championship, NBA and NHL playoffs. We've had the Masters. We've gone on an epic trip to Vegas and enjoyed March Madness. Baseball has begun. I mean, we just had the NFL draft. We are just in sports overload, and we are dialed in, soaking in every moment, and it's fucking sweet.
And I hope the audience is a little bit forgiving to us because honestly, the main reason that we haven't been able to pod on a consistent schedule, because I think, when you're in football season, that is our priority and that changes us as human beings. And we don't not complain about that because football is the greatest thing on the planet. But the past 2 years found myself in a trend that coming out of football season, I spend these 4 months of the year, before the summer, weirdly enough. And then the summer is kind of its own thing, just absolutely firing. So I've gone to 9 different cities for work, for fun. You've been on the health kick of your life. You look skinny. I called you today. You're on what was it, an 8-minute mile shit? Dude, you're on some bullshit right now. I'd say in different ways we're firing on the life perspective and then we dial in on the sports. Life's great right now, man. Can't lie.
Life is great. I mean, yeah. We came out of football season and it's just this bender that I don't want to ever end. No. And it's always it's going to end. And then it's something else happens and it's let's just keep fucking going.
Keep going, dude. You texted me today. You're yo, what's the Red Rock schedule? When can I come out? I was in that energy all week. When I come back from a trip, I'm what's the next one? What are we doing next?
I need the next.
Same thing with gambling. It's what's the next bet? I started doing the parlay of the day again. I started very successful for the first 2. which is what Vegas's plan was: get Michael Jaworski hooked. It's the playbook of the century. And then the last two nights, it lost by a leg, so we're back. But
I
you
think
want
we
to
should
start?
start posting those again.
Let's
We
do
should
it.
just,
Let's do it.
yeah.
It
Those are,
keeps
we
us
don't have to
committed to
keep
the product.
score, but like,
Mm-mm.
yeah. And I
Let's
think
make
the
people
other
money.
reason, ultimately this all comes together with we are really good at podcasting, but we're so much better at living life. And it's hard to do both of those.
It is.
Like, if I could afford someone to video me all day, we're the coolest people ever. But I'm just not good at living life and filming it.
We're in dire need of an intern of sorts. We need someone to keep us in check and put us together and just take in what Mike and Mike are and make it famous and make it so that one, we can keep living life, and two, don't have to do that much work because we like both of those.
We'll do work at life,
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
so good at life.
So good. We're getting better by the day.
It's incredible.
You want to talk ball?
Yeah.
Well, first time we've done a pod, I've heard a lot about this trip and supported the San Antonio trip in a lot of ways via the Instagram, via outreach to fellow Florida Gator accounts, Old Row, Barstool. We had one viral moment that I'm sure all the audience has seen that I'd love for you to elaborate on. But can you give me the San Antonio trip rundown? I've gotten somewhat past the FOMO of it, but everyone needs the rundown of what those 3-4 days you were there for, obviously the Final Four, but also just a huge college reunion. It looked like a time.
Yeah. San Antonio, highly recommend. Cool place. Very happy I went. Very happy I went for the Final Four. And just to set the scene a little bit, Saturday beforehand, Gators are in the Elite Eight. They're playing close games, but they're winning. We're better than Texas Tech. We're going to win. I'm texting a few of our buddies, Mason and Chris, and we're like, we should buy tickets before the game because the price is going to go up. So we're thinking we're smart, and we're like, oh, like worst case scenario, we'll sell tickets, but like we're going to the fucking Final Four. And of course, we start to get fucking smoked by Texas Tech,
Yep.
and vibes are at an all-time low. Depression. I'm at work, trying to work as Ovechkin is about to fucking set the NHL goals record any second now. I'm working Caps games, and I'm trying to watch the Florida Gators, and I'm like, this is my fault. It's on me. And ultimately, we came back. The Cardiac Gators, the most clutch person in all of college basketball, Walter Clayton Jr. We said it all season that all we needed was Walter Clayton Jr., and he obviously proved that was true in every single game. And we win that game. We're going to San Antonio. We buy flights. We get a hotel. We stay at the La Quinta. We're splitting in $100 room 4 ways. We got all the other boys to stay there, and we arrive Saturday. Flight's a little delayed. We're flying into Austin because we're broke and can't afford San Antonio. We're like, fuck, are we gonna make it? We had reserved an Uber, couldn't get the Uber. We get in the Uber. We make it to San Antonio. We drop our shit at La Quinta. We're at the bar by 4:00 maybe. Game starts at 6:00 San Antonio time for the Final Four. Riverwalk, fucking sweet. It's the only part of San Antonio. Everything besides that, not cool.
Yes, absolutely.
But the Riverwalk rocks.
It's tits.
Filled with bars and restaurants and everything. And the Hard Rock Cafe, along with this other cool spot, Howl at the Moon, that had some live music. That was like the unofficial Florida spot. So we pulled up. We meet up with everybody else. There's my big brother, Ethan Coakley from the fraternity, my little brother, Jimmy Hazlett, like people 3 years older that I haven't seen since I was a pledge, and people that like were in the fraternity that I didn't even know. It was just this beautiful mix of all of them, along with other people that I knew from Florida and everyone else that was a Florida Gator fan. It was pretty sweet because you would think Houston would have taken the city over because they're only 2.5 hours away. but they're the softest people I've ever met in
Right.
my life. So
Right.
they drove up right before the game, left right after,
No,
then drove up before the Natty and left.
those are three other programs. Those fans will ride out for all the three other schools that were there for sure.
So it was just, the environment was unreal. We walk into the Final Four, uh, me, Chris, Mason sitting together, and the viral moment starts to happen. And all credit to Chris. He was the one that saw her texting. He
Shout
was
out
the one that
Chris.
decided to take the video. Mason, shout out for being cool and putting a beer to his head with me. Uh, it I mean, like, worst luck possible. Like, I'm really, really drunk. We're all drunk, but like, I'm like, they're like, Mike, you're gonna need to get drunk, and I'm like, I can get drunk. So
You're
I
the
got drunk,
dude. That's your role. That you
and
are
I
built
filled
for
it
that.
to perfection. So naturally, not sure. I know you've been to some pretty big games. I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably, if you were to decide on what percentage of the game you would be sitting for versus percentage you would be standing for, it's an obvious 100%
Right.
standing.
Especially
And
for basketball. Like,
the
come
Alamo
on.
Dome, an 80,000 person stadium, there were 79,000 people standing. And our
God.
section was the only fucking section where everybody is sitting. And we're in like row 3 of the section.
Oh,
So I'm like, guys, I'm standing. It's the Final Four. And they're like, you know what? You're right. We're standing. And so a few minutes into the game, someone's like, sit down, sit down, sit down. And I'm like, is he talking to me? Like, and I turned around and I'm like, are you talking to me? And he's like, yeah, sit down. And I'm like, listen, buddy, gonna get this out of the way right now. I'm trying to be the most respectful I can. It's the fucking Final Four,
yeah.
and the Florida Gators are in it. So
Oh,
I will be standing.
oh
And
my
he's
God.
like,
If
how am I going to see? And I'm like, you should probably stand up too, because it's the fucking Final Four.
Dude, and you
Unreal.
and me as a duo, it's probably good I wasn't there because you're the funny guy in these situations. I am the confrontational guy in
Yes.
these situations. We just had one big funny moment.
So starts off like that. I'm like, whatever. Very conscious to gear all of my celebration towards the Florida Gators. I probably had a 75% success rate at that. So not bad. And this lady in front of us, Auburn fan, I'm sure she's a lovely Southern lady, you know, in her 40s or 50s. Her son was there, husband was there. She didn't like that we were cheering, and specifically me with my raspy voice because I had lost it from cheering, screaming all day. Every
Yeah.
time I would do anything, she would plug her ears. I'm like, do you not hear everybody else? You're at the Final Four. What the fuck?
That's awesome.
Every single, only me. I'm like, okay, cool. So then Chris, this is where Chris comes into play. If anyone hasn't seen the video, you're an idiot. See the video. It's cool as shit. And I will never have a cooler video in my life. She starts texting, she's texting her friend who she had been texting the whole night. And we were laughing about it. But like, I never thought to like look at what she was saying. And she's texting her friend Brandy or something, you know. And she's like, sitting in front of the most obnoxious Florida fans. They won't sit down. They won't stop screaming. And I'm like, Chris, she's texting about me. That's
Mhm.
fucking me.
Then you instantly texted me the video, and I was so happy when I first saw it because I've seen these videos go viral a lot. And it's like usually a guy at a game, like with a guy getting a text from his girlfriend and or something like this. The thing that we added was the instant reaction piece. Like it was the noticing of the text and the reaction itself. And it was gold, Mike. It was gold. You played it perfectly. You didn't even do much. You just were you. Is really
I
what it
was me,
was.
and that was genuine, and it was super cool. I had one person Monday before the game stop me and say, "Hey, are you the one from that video?" And
Let's
only one,
go.
but
Let's
we got
go.
one. We
Let's
got
go.
one.
We got one. It was a home run. for whatever account posted it. We got 1 million views when it all added up. So that was sick. And by the way, that game was fucking awesome. The
Yeah,
one thing I want to just hit about the game, and God, I can't even remember like the play-by-play stuff. Thomas Haw had that sick layup, and Walter Clayton had that crazy and one. But Mike, Auburn, what is it about them? Oh, right. We've said it a million times. We just own that team, especially in basketball. Our favorite Gator game of our career was us upsetting them in the swamp, and it just feels like we have their number. The fact we beat that team twice in the same year when they were the number one team in the country, and God, they were just talked the biggest storm of any team. Pretty fucking satisfying. I can't lie. We're just big brother to them, right?
it felt so good,
So
and
good.
there was something about like Walter Clayton in person, and it's
Oh,
like even in the national championship game, like he hasn't scored yet. He hasn't scored yet. And I just kept saying, once he gets one, the game is over. And it would have been nice if he got his first
yeah.
one a little earlier in the game, but like once he gets one, the game is over. So I could go on
Hmm.
and on about San Antonio. It was incredible.
Yeah,
Ultimately, I can close off, we can go into about the game and whatever, but
sure.
specifically for me, I out of all of my sports teams, the only championship before this I've ever had was an '09 Yankees championship, which was great. I was at games that year, but I was 9 years old. How much do I remember? I can tell you the team because like I look at it fucking every year, so I have great memory. But like how much do I remember? Not a ton. Being there, like my teams don't win those games.
No.
With my luck, I was supposed to go to San Antonio, watch us lose on Saturday, and then have to be miserable in San Antonio for Sunday and Monday, and then leave Tuesday morning and land and go straight to work. And by the way, all I brought was Florida Gator gear, so I would have been the only buffoon still wearing Florida Gator gear. But not this time. And you know what? Winning rocks.
It's the
I
best.
love sports. I love winning. There are like
Mhm.
fucking 500 at least colleges in this country, and we're the only national champions.
The Gators are national fucking champions. It did come a year after we graduated, but dude, I mean, we'll take this. This is our first too, because you and I are both in the same boat as far as we were not Florida Gator fans until we joined the university. So this is our first taste of a collegiate championship. And really for me, like just ever, I was a Notre Dame fan growing up and they didn't win shit. So this is so the point I wanted to make, right? And I think it's funny you said you stayed at the La Quinta. I was also at the La Quinta. It was the La Quinta Resort in Palm Springs, California. I watched the national championship game at work. I was at our booth, and we always get a TV to put our little like PowerPoint presentation, or sometimes I'll do a little bit of demo on it. This time I put the game on because it was started like 10 minutes after the booth time started. Uh, I was wearing my Florida Gator polo, and that actually drove a lot of business that night. And then after that, we had to go to this like happy hour thing where there was two screens, and everyone's just drinking their old fashions and talking business and all the bullshit. Not me. Nope. I made a fool of myself in front of the screen, yelled it just as loud as I would have on my couch. I think you can appreciate that. And in the end,
Yep.
it was a good laugh with it. So the point I wanted to say, because I don't want to be the guy that's going to say that I won two championships this year and I'm like 2 for 2, but it is true. And yes, we are football guys, and I am Philadelphia Eagles above everything. So I was in Gainesville recently. We can get to my trip in a bit, and I had a pretty heated debate with Joe Solks, fake Eagles fan and diehard Florida Gators fan, and he just could not comprehend how I had the Eagles above the Gators still. And it's almost like it's a culture thing or like a religion thing if I want to go that far. I think you can appreciate that too, but there's something about winning March Madness, and it's your team. And like, think about it this way, folks. Like, Duke, Kentucky, UNC. Like, I'd say at least half of the time, the champion is those programs, right? And those programs can have, well, do have mostly fans that didn't go to the universities, right? The Florida Gators, yeah, won in 07, 08, but they aren't or haven't been, and maybe they are now a like pinnacle, like gonna be in the championship race every year. Mike, when we went to school there, they were pretty fucking average. We had to deal with Mike White, right? So we got to root for a team. We went to college there that absolutely isn't guaranteed by any means to win March Madness. And frankly, had to go through, I think, the best Final Four of all time to win it, and had to do it in the most dramatic cardiac Gators way. It's just the perfect combination of things. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl in a blowout, and they won the NFC Championship game in a blowout. So it's just a completely different feeling. But I experienced more happiness, I think, with the Florida Gators and just the way it was done. And that's just the beauty of sports. And if we were an outsider looking in on this, we would have talked about it the next day and been like, that was fucking awesome. Like, good for the Florida Gators. That was the best Final Four of all time. The beauty of this, Michael, is that we are Florida fucking Gators fans, and we are national fucking champions. Go Gators, baby. Let's go,
Go
man.
Gators, man. It
What
is.
a ride. What a ride. We'll remember it the
I'm
rest of our
making,
lives.
and I'm making it very present in my life and everyone else's life to constantly remind everyone that we are national champions. And as we get farther and farther away from it, I will continue to remind everyone, because we only get 1 year of this, and who knows when I'm going to get my next championship, hopefully sooner rather than later. But for this 1 year, nobody is better at college basketball.
Nope. I love that you said that too, because the other Florida Gator news was that Aberdeen transferred. They got Xavier Lee. The Aberdeen thing was a surprise of sorts, but it's because Kentucky dumped a lot of money on him. We have to hate him now. And I was in the Twitter comment section, and I was some Kentucky fan like just going into a random Florida post and like making fun of that. And it's just as easy as saying like, "Hey, we're national champions, bud."
Where's your
It's the
ring,
best.
dude?
Where's your ring, dude? It's the best. It is the best comeback in the world. We have
There's
it for
no
at least a
comeback.
year.
You can't
There's
come
it's
back from that.
you we were texting before this. What did you start making fun of? The Phils, I think, or maybe the Sixers, rightfully so. And then I told you, I was like, you know what ammo I have, and it's big ammo.
Dude,
So
having
it's
that card to play in
oh,
your back pocket.
I
In
is it?
sports, there is nothing better than being a
I
champion.
was gonna
It
ask,
doesn't
is it
matter
the
how you win, when you win, who you played, how it happened. If you win, you're a winner and everyone else is a loser. And no matter what they say about you, you fucking won.
I think it is the best part about winning a championship is just having that piece of dialogue in conversation, because as dudes, that is 80% of our conversations. It's fucking chopping it up about ball. And we have imaginary rings that we will carry around with us in every conversation we have. And holy shit, 2025 has been just incredible. I could talk about the
Incredible.
Florida Gators all night. You gave the San Antonio trip well. The viral moment was awesome. Also, we have to shout out Matthew Keyser because he also went viral, and I'm just proud of the guy. Like it was such an easy task for him to put on the Buddy the Elf costume and write that sign saying, "Have you seen my father? His name is Walter." But nobody else would have thought of that except for Matthew Keyser, and he's the man. So I had to shout him.
He's the man. It was so good to
Go on
see
Zoom.
him.
It looks like so much fun. It's like there's only so many excuses you have to round the troops and do what we did on a daily basis in college. I mean that was a replication of when we would go to NOLA or Nashville and just flood the city, and this time it was for the Final Four. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, no one else will understand this that like doesn't know us and our friends, but you'll appreciate how awesome this is, and I hope that she doesn't mind that I'm shouting her out. But there's no other place like San Antonio for the Final Four for the Florida Gators where you can come together and spend an entire day with a group that includes Tico, Joe Sulks, and Bailey Ingles. It was
Oh,
incredible, and they all had the best time
it's the
ever. Like,
best.
it was sweet.
Dude,
Florida rocks.
that's the thing I love about you and me as people too. I feel like we can combobulate the randomest groups of people to vibe with at any given moment. And it'll always make sense and we will always be smiling and drinking and you'll always be entertaining. It's wow, man. I mean, we actually are on cloud nine. I hope people listen to this podcast. It's probably the happiest we'll ever be when it comes
We're
to
so
sports.
happy. We're
So
so
happy.
happy.
I had another extremely happy moment that I would love to talk about in this beautiful time of sports, Mike.
I'm all
Um,
ears.
man, wow, I'm gonna try not to cry for this. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Wow.
It is such a I realized this year that the Masters isn't a sporting event. It is a 10-star production. It is an Oscar-winning film, and it just so happens to be live. And yes, a sport in which you have to compete and win in. And well, we all know Rory McIlroy won his first Masters finally. He finally completed the career Grand Slam. He's the sixth person in golf to ever do it. The last being Tiger Woods. The last before that, Jack in '65. It is a very exclusive club when it comes to sports. Like how many accolades in just sports in general is there? Like six guys, right? It's really impressive. And if you don't know Rory McIlroy, he's not the most likable guy on the planet, right? He has a weird, awkward social thing about him. But if you also know Rory McIlroy, you would know that there is one thing in his life that he cares about, and that's it. And it is the sport of golf. And that has been his thing since day one. He went on a nice talk show, late night host, when he was like 8 years old about being like the next golf guy, right? And he's this little town guy from Northern Ireland, right? And that resonates in his behavior, right? It's funny like seeing him on the podium this week and knowing how he's been in years past, and like it really does feel like personality wise there is a monkey off his back. That's how much this meant to him. He's had so many heartbreaks, especially in the past 4 years. I go back to the first one being 22 at the old course. Like that was his major to lose. He had the heartbreak against Jordan Spieth in the Masters. He's just been there so many times. And Rory had a great first day, and he shit the bed at the very end of it. He came out and said, "That's not going to define my tournament," and had an incredible Friday. On Saturday, he came out just absolutely blitzing the course, and it looked like he was going to run away with it. And Sunday, it started that way too. And then he started to blow it. And it just really felt like he was going to do it again when he hit the water on hole 13. And somehow, some way, he had an incredible shot on 15. He had a few just I would go on TikTok and I saw like top five shots of Rory's Sunday round, and they were like five of the better shots I've ever seen like that round. But he also had some of the worst, right? And that is Rory McIlroy when it comes to Sunday golf. But he went to a playoff and he did it against Justin Rose, which is just so ironic. It was him, given that they're like best friends, they're Europeans, but Justin Rose also has a huge monkey on his back when it comes to these major tournaments. So you would have been happy for either, but Rory's the guy. And man, that playoff hole was so awesome because Justin Rose hits a dart. It was such a great shot. And then Rory one-ups him. And Justin Rose barely misses the birdie putt, and Rory drains his after missing a gimme on 18. So, in other words, folks, Rory won the Masters in the one way I'd want to see Rory win the Masters. And here's the part that really started to make me emotional, Mike. Like that reaction he had was the most raw sports reaction I've ever seen. The way he throws the club in relief, and then it goes to like, oh my God, thank God relief. And you can tell he's getting emotional on the ground. And then he comes up and he's, and he just carried that for the next 20 minutes. He carried it into Butler Cabin. And this is where it really became a movie. because you know my affection for just storytelling and sportscasting as it comes, and there might not be a better one than Jim. I wish I knew his middle name, Nance. And he was sitting in Butler Cabin looking at Rory in the face, and Jim did exactly what he was supposed to do, which is cry. And it made Rory cry. And it just felt like a big brother saying, "You finally fucking did it." And there was a reaction of Rory going into the isn't it crazy to think that like he's played that course what 15 times now, and there's like a part of the clubhouse
That
he's
he's
not allowed
never
to go
been to.
into, and he gets to go in and he looks like a 12-year-old boy, dude. And this is Rory fucking McIlroy. It was really beautiful, man. I was on a plane for the last three holes, and I did not care. I was bawling on that plane, dude. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm not even like a Rory guy. I just loved seeing someone work his entire life to accomplish this one dream, and he did it, and it was exactly the reaction you would expect to see. And thanks for letting me go on that monologue, man. I'm gonna end it with I fucking love sports and I love the Masters. There's nothing like the Masters.
That's where I was going to take it. I mean, sports create stories that you can't fathom. It is the world's greatest form of reality television.
Mm-hmm.
It is the world's greatest form of competition. And we owe everything in our life to it. I think we're better men because of it. I think we've learned
Yes.
to communicate. I think we've learned to work on teams. I think we've
Yeah.
learned to work hard when shit isn't easy, and that there are goals, and that if you work hard, you can achieve them, and that the victory at the end of it is damn sweet.
It's so great. It
But
brings
also,
out
yeah, you're not
it.
always going to win. You're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have struggles. You're going to have injuries. Sports are life. Life is sports, and sports fucking rock.
They rock, dude. It brings out every raw emotion in a human being in the most natural way possible. I can't think of another way that you can really bring, besides like, getting married or being in a breakup, right? Or getting in a fight with your boys. Like, yeah, sure, you're going to show human emotion then. But sports is something that we get to watch, and it brings out emotion in everyone. Like you and me take this our sports to a level of like we feel like we're on the team, and this is like actually a big part of our lives, for better or worse. There's a ton of people that would look at us and think we're dumb because of that, but
100%.
there's what you just said right there, and this has been just a beautiful little topic we've had here. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, this shit does have value to our like human development. It's from learning and seeing what other people get to experience, and it's just competition at its purest form, man, with the greatest athletes on the planet. And we saw that in full-fledged fashion with Rory and the Gators. I mean,
Yeah. And
yeah,
you got to think about how much better the world would be if everyone was more into sports. And
right.
also, how much better sports would be if everyone appreciated them like you and I and Rory McIlroy. I think that even specifically for the athletes, especially nowadays, they're the athletes that really want to win championships, that grew up watching people win rings and they want to put rings on their fingers. There's also people that want a paycheck, and those people, a lot of them came from the bottom where they had nothing, and sports was their way out. It was their way to go to college, their way to make money for their family, their way to move up in this world. So no shame on anyone, but if everyone was in it to win, sports would, I can't even fathom. Like, sports are already incredible. Like,
Yeah, it would.
ah,
It's great. It's so great. I mean, we live in the best country for it too. I mean, I'd like to think like throughout history, and like obviously like Rome and the gladiator times come to mind with this, but like we're living in the prime era of just being a sports fan. We have like six sports that we just get to like throw our emotions into, and it's awesome. I fucking love sports.
They're not
It's,
perfect. People
no,
complain about them, the rules
sure.
and the flags and the time of the baseball. They've been changed, I think mostly for good, but
I think you're onto something too here, Mike, because like, what you said about if everyone watched sports, it would be a better place. I used to say that same thing about smoking weed. It's like if everyone just like were to smoke a J at the exact same time, I think it would just solve a lot of problems. So like, dude, you said it best at the beginning of the pod. We're awesome. Like, dude, should we do like an ebook or like should we write a book?
are
Is
we
that
are we model citizens?
I think we are the example of what it takes to be a better society.
I think we're gonna start either a religion, a cult, or get really famous.
or just or just completely flop. But we'll still be having fun.
That's the thing. Nobody can take that away from us.
You can't
I
stop
am
us.
killing it at life, and that's
Yeah.
nobody's decision to
No.
determine besides
No.
me. And
No,
I'm
dude.
killing it.
Yeah. You can't affect though. I didn't hear a fucking whistle, dude. Like we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going,
The
dude.
bender never
It
ends.
never ends. It never fucking ends.
There's always another sport.
We have to keep going. We have to keep going. We can never stop. We can never stop. We won't ever stop. Our wives are gonna have to be okay with this.
Yeah, and if they're not, then they're not my wife.
No, zero chance. Like no, but they'll love it. All right.
Speaking of continuing, we do have two
Yeah,
sports in the playoffs.
we do. We do. Did you want to hit those, or did you want to speak a little bit more about the draft and what we just watched?
We can hit the
This was a
draft.
good draft. No, we
If
didn't
I
like really go into it though.
no, I'm saying let's do more draft.
Okay, let's do draft. So Cam Ward was always going to be number one, but I'm sorry because I told you to take a weird pick today because I thought I was reading the script. The Jags were at 5, and I knew they were going to go offense, and it sounded like it was going to be either Genty or McMillan, and then
Did
the
you see that?
odds. What?
Some balloons just went off
Oh, really?
on your screen. It was pretty cool.
Oh, let's go. That's
Oh,
sick.
well, sorry.
Thanks, podcasting software.
All right. Sorry,
Anyways,
continue.
yeah. So I thought the Genty odds for his team went all of a sudden this morning to Bears minus 190. And it's like, well, he's not going to be there at 10. So it probably means they're going up to 5 with Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to wait at 10, take McMillan, and he wasn't even there, turns out. But all of a sudden, that went to the shithole, and I didn't see this coming. The Jaguars traded a fucking haul to move up 3 spots to the number 2 pick and not take a quarterback. And yeah, you're already thinking like this got to be the worst trade of all time. The haul, by the way, first round pick next year, second round pick this year. I think like 3 other picks, right? But it was for Travis Hunter, who plays 2 positions. And for context here, the Jacksonville GM looks like us, looks like me. Like he looks like a kid. He has a baby face. He's like 34. When they went to the draft room, the boy was wearing a hoodie with a jacket around it. And I know people will get mad about that. I won't be that one because I'm 24. But anyways, he makes a crazy move. He goes and gets Travis Hunter. And honestly, let's hit the Browns part first because this was a home run. This was a home run haul. The next 2-3 years are going to be a rebuild for you no matter what. You still kept Myles Garrett in the building, which is great. You move back 3 spots and you get, and I texted you this, like technically, right? Cam Ward wasn't on their board. It was probably Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter in some sort of way. But for all we know, Mason Graham could have been the first on their board. And they got him at 5, and they got a huge haul with it. But I still love this move for Jacksonville. Like, because they are kind of still in win now mode-ish, right? I know they had a bad year last year, but like you got to think with a new coach, you got your quarterback already. Brian Thomas Jr. is awesome. You got some weapons on the defense. Like they're probably going for it in some regard. And
They have to.
they get and like I was thinking about this with Travis Hunter too, and really in reference to the Cowboys, I'm like, if you're making the trade and giving up a first round pick, and then yeah, sure, some picks on the side, technically you were drafting 2 positions, right? And not to mention, like you're bringing in a guy who everyone's gonna buy their jersey right away. So like you're bringing as a GM like value to the franchise. I just really like the trade. I think this is one of the cooler ones I've seen. And Travis Hunter's from like Georgia area. He's like a Florida boy at heart. And I just think it's a great fit. I didn't see him in Cleveland unless Shador went there. So that really kicked things off, man. What did you think of the trade?
I agree. Didn't see it coming at all, but I think it makes sense, especially for like this young GM that wants to make a splash in a city that hasn't had great football. Trevor Lawrence has extremely underperformed, but you're still sticking with Trevor Lawrence. And so, yeah, if you're sticking with Trevor Lawrence, then you're in win now mode because you believe that he can win games for you. And you have Brian Thomas Jr., who you hit on. You still believe in Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby to run the backfield.
Yeah.
And so you bring in Travis Hunter to fill probably their two biggest needs because they have zero secondary. They have other issues on the defense as well, but they have zero secondary and they need another receiver. He's explosive. And if you're the GM, you're not like, oh, let me play it safe. Let me play not to lose. Let me have a 3-year plan. He's saying, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going for it with this trade right now. And if
Right.
Travis Hunter sucks and he can't play on either side of the ball and Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy, well, then I was screwed before I even took the job if Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy. So, like, let's go all in. Let's try and win now.
Right.
And I'm getting fired in 3 years if I don't start winning playoff games anyways. So why not get fired
That's what I'm
in
saying.
a year and a
Like,
half if it blows up?
I think
Or go
GMs
win.
like to come into a new job and say like, all right, day one, right? Like I know I have 3 years to your point at least. Like I'm gonna, show that I'm getting draft capital and like, yeah, we're gonna have 2 bad years. I like that this guy came in and said, like, I'm gonna keep my job in a different way. I'm gonna win next year. Like, give me this dude who will. I think Travis Hunter accounts for at least 3 wins. I'm gonna just put that out there. I just think he's
Wow.
that type of difference maker. Yeah, dude, he is electric. He is maybe we'll see, but the ceiling is maybe the highest like position skill player we've ever seen.
So
That's the
he's
ceiling.
undoubtedly their cornerback one as of now. I don't know who they have on the roster, but he has to be their number one corner.
Yeah, it's a great situation for him, man. Like I
He might
think.
be their number one receiver too.
Well, that's Brian Thomas Jr. for sure because he's going to be on the outside, right? I think he's going to get a lot of snaps in the slot, and they're just going to try and get him the ball. And like it definitely translates better to do more snaps or less snaps on offense and a hybrid type thing, and do more on defense, kind of like what Dion would do for a little bit of his
Right.
career, right? But I don't know, man. I think I like him as a wide receiver just a little bit more because I just want the ball in his hands, right? And I don't think, and he's going to play those positions, absolutely. I don't think he's going to play 100% of the snaps of every position. That's just a really tall task, and the last thing you want is this guy to get injured. So if I
I
had to
agree.
guess right now, I think I'd see more wide receiver snaps. I really do. Yeah, yeah.
I can
And
see
dude,
them almost like, especially in year one, I could see them going with like almost like a Debo utility guy on offense where he's in the
right?
backfield, he's in the slot, he's out wide, he's doing end arounds. He's definitely going to return punts and kickoffs because he's fucking electric. So,
Maybe,
like you
yeah.
said, you get the ball in that guy's hands as much as you
Just get
can.
him the ball. Yep.
And you just go all in on this guy. Like,
Yeah.
I like what they did. I mean, it
Yeah.
could blow up in their face.
Sure.
I'd argue it's almost pretty 50-50 when you include what they gave up in the trade of it blowing up in their face and this 35-year-old GM not having a job in 3 years. But
Yeah.
there's also a chance they win a very wide open division.
I'm also curious too, because that was a haul. It was 3 picks. Like someone else was trying to get that pick. I almost think it was the Giants. I almost think the Giants were trying to hop up a spot and take Travis Hunter instead of Abdul Carter because they already have 2 edges. So like, yeah, best player available, and they had to do it at 3. But like, I don't think it was like their ideal situation, right? So they ended up taking Abdul Carter, and then they traded back into the first round, which a lot of people were predicting would happen. And like, sure, when you like go back and like this was like such an obvious thing for the Giants to do, and that's why like you're gonna go back and be like home run of a draft. But like it's not like that out of the box to trade up into the round and get a quarterback. And they chose Jackson Dart, which could very easily blow up in their face. because the guy they didn't draft didn't go in the first round. It's Shador Sanders. That's what people are going to talk about the most besides this trade. And can I give you my stance?
Go ahead.
I love Shador. I've always loved Shador. I'm not going to bring up Dion. I'm not going to bring up his character at all. I watched the guy 2 years at Colorado, and every time I watched him, I said that guy is also going to be really good in the NFL. He's deadly accurate. He makes a lot of good decisions. I know there was a lot of plays where he was rolling around, and people go in the comment section and say, "Oh, he won't be able to do it in the NFL." But like those two things, you need more than anything. And Mel Kiper had a really interesting point tonight because he went through all the years of the draft and he named guys like Tom Brady and Drew and Aaron Rodgers and Dan Marino, these like certified pocket passers that dropped in the draft, but they were studs, right? And it's happened time and time again. And I think they pinpointed it to, it's like when you draft these guys, especially in a high pick in the first round, like there's not this extra factor that it's like, oh, and he's this. Example with Cam Ward being like electric arm, very calm, a little bit more athletic, right? But Shador is just like really good at the things you need to be good at. And they're concerned because there's not maybe some extra parts that increase his ceiling, right? But man, like think about how much can go wrong at the quarterback position. And that's really like what defines people's careers. It's not the extra things you're good at, it's the things that you're going to be missing that are going to really expose you. And I think that's what Shador is to a T. And I think this is a mistake. And I think he's still going to be really good in the NFL. And maybe this is a blessing that he's going to potentially go to a better team now. I think it'll probably be the Browns with, they have 2 of the first 4 picks on day 2. But that's my stance with Shador, man. I guess the baggage overweighed that because I see a damn good quarterback.
I agree. I have to assume that because he didn't really start dropping till a week or 2 ago when he was like being weird with interviews and he was only working out at Colorado. People had to come see him. I think the baggage took over and people got nervous. There's already talk that Dion said he wouldn't come to the NFL unless he was coaching his son and all of this other shit. I mean, did you see their fucking basement or whatever that was today? Like, the guy didn't even get drafted. Like, I don't know. It makes me hate the guy. And I think it's unfortunate because I think his dad does a lot of it. And I don't think that he's as much of an asshole as his dad is. And his dad was able to do it because he was an incredible football player. Well, Shador hasn't proven that yet. And so I think that's why people are hating him. I think that's why the baggage is scary. I think that's why he dropped. I do think on the flip side, the Giants had a home run. I think a lot of it played out nicely that Shador didn't get taken by the Steelers, where a lot of people thought that he may have gone, that he didn't get taken, that the Giants didn't take someone early. Then it was able to make it to the point where the Giants were like, all right, we have our pick of guys. Clearly, like they liked Jackson Dart. And that's where, like you said, it's very common for someone to go into the end of the first round. And
the Giants like the white quarterback. Oh,
the white quarterback from Ole Miss.
Oh, never would have guessed. Yeah, I should have seen the obvious. But
that hasn't worked out in the past, right?
I mean, 3 months ago, it was like Shador to the Giants no matter what. Like in the season, they were like tank for Shador, right? And then I think Dayball was the leading cause of like, give me, and it makes total sense, right? Because who was his quarterback that he's successful with?
Josh Allen.
I see a lot of Josh Allen and Jackson Dart, right? The one drop, because I like Jackson Dart too. I thought these 3 quarterbacks were great. The one drawback with Jackson Dart was the fourth quarter of the Florida game. Like, whatever happened there was really concerning. But every other time I've watched him, I'm like, dude, that is something there. So, yeah, Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart, that's a pretty good round 1 for the Giants. So I guess props to them a little bit. But, we'll see, right? Because the thing with Abdul Carter is he's a pretty damn good, he's a pretty big Eagles fan. You've made that very publicly known. In 5 years, you're going to lose another one. We'll see. We'll see. And Jackson Dart models his game off Jalen Hurts. So the Giants are just trying to be the Eagles.
I'm not going to entertain that. But I do think Jackson Dart has an incredible opportunity. I think it'll be interesting to see how long they keep him on the bench.
Yeah.
depending on how Russ performs. Because, I mean, you could, if you're the Giants, argue that Jackson Dart is your third quarterback. They
Yeah.
won't because they'll put Jameis at the 3. But, I mean, I could see, I mean, if Russell Wilson, hopefully this doesn't happen, terrible of me to say, Russell Wilson gets injured in the first half of the first game, I think they put Jameis Winston in the game, not Jackson
Yeah.
Dart.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think when you get to week
Yeah.
8 and the Giants are
Right.
2-6, you think about Jackson Dart.
What
But
about
if the
Tommy DeVito?
Giants, I think he's practice squad, right?
Oh, really?
You can't carry 4 quarterbacks.
If there was a FanDuel bet for will Tommy DeVito get snaps in 2025, I know it's like completely illogical, but like I'd bet on that. I don't know. Just seems like he's due to get snaps on the Giants until he retires.
I think he might be retiring pretty soon is the
That's a good
problem.
point. That's a good point. Other draft notes. The Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round for like
First
the
time
first
since
time.
'02, I
Oh,
think.
two, yeah, and it was in Green Bay, so that was an awesome moment because Packers are good fans. I hate the Packers because of recent news with Tush Push and all that. I just think they're a pussy organization. But like they have a good fan base, like their fans are diehard, so they were very well aware of that stat. And given it was in Green Bay, that was a really cool reaction. Um, the Falcons traded up back into the first round to take another edge rusher. I thought they got a steal at 15 with Jalen Walker. I was texting you, and we'll get to our team's picks in a sec. When the Cowboys were up at 12, I was like, if Walker goes next to Parsons, I'm scared. Like, that's a duo of duos. They really are like a very similar player in the way they can move around. So the Falcons snagged him at 15 after kind of a drop of sorts. People thought he was going to go top 8. And then they trade back in and take James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. But the way they traded back in really caught people's eyes. They gave up their first round next year to the Rams. And they got like a third this year and gave their second round pick, obviously, for the Rams to take. But that feels like a pretty big price to move up into the first round to take a non quarterback. So that caught people's eyes.
It was a lot. It's interesting. I mean, I guess they're also in like this win now mode in a division where they can see themselves making a push. I mean, they blew it last year, partially Kirk Cousins, partially Raheem Morris.
Mm.
They can win that division. They have a talented roster. The offense is good. I can't speak on the O line, but if the O line's defense, they're decent. Their defense is the problem, and they had like
Yeah,
10
totally.
sacks last year. Like
Totally.
they had like 10
And
sacks the whole season.
who they? Oh, and they took. So the past 4 years, they've taken an offensive guy. Penix was the crazy one, especially with Raheem Morris in his first year. It's like one, nobody saw Penix. Two, like they were probably going to draft defense that year. Also, people forget like last year, defensive player didn't go until like 15, which it was like just so weird.
Yep.
But anyways, on paper though, like I can't, you know, make fun of the draft because they got 2 stud edge rushers. Like that's what you want in the first round. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset if I'm a Falcons fan. Like if you like the guy this year, give up your first round next year for him. And I saw a lot of mocks like they would just take James Pierce at 15. So I'm sure they're all really happy. I don't know if there was any other trades besides the very end of it. Mike, it's bullshit. Why were the Eagles drafting 32 this year? Like, why did we get that pick?
They drafted at 31.
Yeah, but why were we at 32 originally? That's such bullshit.
Yeah, it must be like a lottery thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to research it. But yeah, the last trade of the
I'll
draft,
have to research it. Fuck
the
you.
last the last trade of the draft, and then we can hit your pick was the Eagles traded with the Chiefs. They do this a lot when they like a guy. They like just trade up one spot to I guess guarantee another team doesn't trade. They also have the most picks the next 2 years out of any other NFL team. They also just won the Super Bowl. It's just that's kind of wild to me. I'm sure it pisses a lot of people off. So they just threw the Chiefs a fifth rounder, said here you go, and they took their tackle, which they were always going to do, and then they got Jahad Campbell, who I will be honest didn't think we were going to draft. I didn't do a ton of research on before. I know he was the number 1 rated linebacker, and he comes from the University of Alabama. So if Howie likes it, enough to go up a pick. I have no complaints about this pick, Mike. Uh, did you know that Jahad Campbell, according to ESPN, I would have to check other sources, was rated higher than the Cowboys' first round draft pick at number 12?
I do
Yeah,
remember asking that question, so thank you for giving me
yeah,
that
no,
fact.
dude, I got you. I got you.
Well, they're on different sides of the ball, and according to ESPN is only one opinion. So by the end of the night, I will find another news sports source that rates it differently
Okay,
because
cool.
that pisses me
Hey,
off. But
we both took Bama guys though.
yeah, I kind of feel the same about my pick. I texted you earlier. I didn't really want a receiver. Felt like a reach for us. Uh, the offense needs help. I don't think it's necessarily with receiver. I think that we can make do with Ferguson as tight end and CeeDee Lamb being the best receiver in the league. We
I would
need an O
agree.
line and we need running backs.
Yep.
And so we went out and we made a nice, simple pick. We got a guard from Alabama. I can't tell you anything about him besides the fact that he looks massive on and off the field.
Yes.
And he played at Alabama. So
Yes.
probably pretty good at football.
Yes. We drafted a Alabama guard slash center a few years ago, and he's done wonderfully. So it's usually a good pick. And he was very very excited to be a Cowboy, as was John Campbell to be an Eagle. It seemed we were talking about this before pressing record. A lot of guys were just hyped this year. It seemed like.
Yeah, like I'm not mad at it, but like
No.
I think it's gonna make for like good like I can see a lot of them being like Keon Coleman in the offseason where they're just
Right.
like fucking like nuts kids. But it's like, yeah, like I feel like they're usually a little more classy, they're walking out in their nice suits and whatever. Like this just seemed like a fucking party and everyone's like lifting Goodell in the fucking air. He's gonna be sore tomorrow after all those hugs.
Yeah.
Like he got squeezed like a fucking teddy bear, and I'm like,
I love the
I don't
draft,
know.
man.
It
I
was
love the
awesome.
draft. Yeah, I made us wait until the end of it. I just love it's like one of my favorite couch things. Like I just love hearing them talk. I love when it gets to the ESPN highlights and it's dun, 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 bam 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 bam, and then it's just like Mel Kiper. He's like, this guy when he was in Texas A&M was a very raw prospect, but when he transferred to LSU, I really saw him blossom. I know people are gonna complain about the arm strength and his arm length, but when you get down into the trenches, this guy just pounds. It's just I love it. I could go for hours. And the trades I thought were pretty entertaining this year.
Yeah, I did probably the least amount of research that I ever have before a draft because I did my best to not think about football until I absolutely had to, which means just today, tomorrow, and Saturday, and then
Yeah.
back to no football for me until August.
Oh, but did you see that they had a release announcement for the release announcement date of the schedule? I
Yeah,
mean, they're just finding ways to entertain us.
it's incredible. And that your Mel Kiper impression was pretty damn good, I have to
Thank you,
say.
thank you. I've
Um,
decided I'm
I
gonna start doing more impressions.
I love it. I do have to
Yeah.
say, no bone to pick with you, but my bone is to pick with Mel Kiper, who I usually think is phenomenal.
Hmm.
He just wouldn't fucking shut up about Shador.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
like,
Yeah.
dude, like enough. And then the
Well,
other,
all
okay,
one thing to that, like that definitely wasn't all Mel Kiper. Like that is the network he works for, saying, "Hey, make sure you butter the fuck out of this." But continue.
okay. I mean, yes, you're right. Still annoying. I ended up moving to ABC, and then I moved back because it wasn't as good.
No NFL Network.
Well, Mel Kiper was ESPN.
Yeah, yeah. Rich Eisen is NFL Network. That was
Yeah.
the other channel. You didn't toss NFL Network in the rotation at all.
No, I just feel like that's
Oh, okay.
like mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't
No,
get
I
me
get it.
fired up. The other
No,
part
I
I
get it.
did enjoy about ESPN though was the Lewis Riddick and Booger banter because they just have the word like their takes are completely opposite every time.
Yeah.
And there was one where they were talking about like who was going to get drafted, and it was like two safeties, and then I think it was the guy for the Bills out of Kentucky who was also super hype.
Yeah.
And he comes out and, then Booger just keeps going like, I really feel like this other guy would be a better fit, in the too high safety look that the Bills like
Yeah.
to run. And then Louis Riddick's like, yeah, well, he also played in two high safety looks at Kentucky. And like, they're just going at it. And I'm like, these
Yeah.
guys just want to know more ball than the other
Yeah.
one. And they both know a shit ton of ball, but Booger's definitely an idiot. And he doesn't fail to show that a lot.
Oh, biggest idiot. I actually love Louis Riddick. I've always
Me
loved
too.
him. I just think
He'll
he's
be a
very
GM
smooth.
very soon.
You think? I
I
could
mean,
see
if he
it.
wants it, he's been offered 50,000 different jobs.
You think? Oh, really? I didn't know this. Yeah, I mean, it
There's
makes
always
total
a team or
sense.
two that like interviews Louis Riddick every year. I know it
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
Lions the year of Dan Campbell and all that.
GM over coaching though?
Yeah,
Wow, interesting. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, no, the NFL drafts analysts are funny, dude. It's like it's just a funny thing to like have as your like sports talking point because you're just watching college guys all year. All these like mock drafts. I love the NFL drafts. I just adore the whole thing. Uh, were there any other picks that surprised you?
GT to the Raiders. A lot of people had that.
Yeah,
McMillan to the Panthers. I like
that
it.
one surprised me. I like it though too. I like it.
Colston Loveland went
Yeah,
before Tyler
that was
Warren.
surprising. Yeah. So, but it was weird because it was like I remember looking at the rankings before, and it was like Colson Loveland was above Warren, and then Warren had like those 3 games at the end of the year that was like, what the fuck is this? And then it was like Warren by a mile, and then it slowly at the end of it became like that they were closer than everyone thought, and then yeah, Loveland went above. I guess he's more of the pass catching guy. His film looks incredible, dude. He looks like a tree running around.
He's
Um,
huge.
and Tyler Warren, perfect for the Colts. I still love Shane Steichen. I think that 2022 Eagles offense was even better than the one we just watched. That just like the play design and everything was just so smooth and unstoppable. And it was this weird, like, quick 3 yard outs and like these weird screens, but like everyone's always moving. And that's what Tyler Warren is. He's a utility agent that's just this brick that will run at you. And he also catches everything. That guy is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I
he's a
don't know
football
who's throwing
player.
him the ball, but he'll be awesome.
He's a football player.
Yeah. What else? Keep going.
The last exciting thing is Ohio State Emike Egbuka went
Yeah,
to the Bucks,
I
and
really like it.
really
I really
because
like
their
it. Yeah.
defense is dog shit, and they do
Mm,
have two other stud receivers with
good
Jalen
point.
McMillan as a solid third one.
Yeah, I forgot about McMillan. They do have him. Well, I mean, this
Cade
probably says
Otton on that offense. They've
this
got Bucky Irving still. Like,
it probably says a lot about Chris Godwin and where he's at with his injury, right? And Mike Evans is obviously getting old. They're both kind of getting old, so and he's a plug and play guy. Like he'll probably have 100 catches next year for him. He's or not 100, but he'll be very productive. You know,
yeah, he seems very similar to the other Ohio State guys, like the Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson. Like,
sure.
they all just come, Marvin Harrison. They all come to the league and are pretty damn good. It's pretty crazy that all four of them were on the same team.
It's like
Um,
when Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, and Jalen Waddle were on the same team.
wow.
Yeah, I love the draft.
Other than that,
um,
Omarion Hampton, the
yeah,
running back, went to the Chargers. That's a nice
yeah.
move to go with Najee Harris.
Yeah, I mean anything Chargers running back related, I love. And there were 2 running backs in the first round, and there's going to be a flood of them that come off the board
Oh my
in
God,
day
yeah.
two.
And then according to ESPN's best available, obviously you've got Shador
Yep.
in the running back department. You got both Ohio State running backs,
Who's
Scadabo.
the Michigan corner was the other surprising one that he went out of round one or he didn't go in round one
Yeah,
but I
Will
think he has an
Johnson.
injury. He has an injury, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so he's been dropping Will Johnson.
Yeah.
That Mike Green guy they wouldn't shut up about, the edge
Yeah.
from Marshall that I've never heard of.
I thought the Eagles were going to take him. Yeah.
No, he doesn't go to Alabama or Georgia, so they don't
Right.
take him.
Good point. Good point. Yep.
Other than that, I mean, I'm excited to see what the Cowboys do. Excited to see some other trades.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's going to look for Shador. I agree. I think it makes sense that he goes to the Browns.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
and I
guess
think
they let him sit. I don't know.
the thing with the Browns too is it just comes down to the offense. Kevin Stefanski, West Coast offense. He's won with smaller, not as crazy athletic guys in the past, aka like Baker. So I just think, it's a great situation as far as offensive play calling. Totally. They'll still run the ball. They still got some pieces on the offensive line. They got a couple weapons in Judy, right? Like yeah, I like that for Shador. Who's their quarterback, right? Like he would maybe start.
Deshaun Watson.
No, but they picked up someone else, and it was like, oh, he's gonna start. And it's like, oh, that's a good pickup. I forget who. What? Can you look it up real quick?
Yeah.
Who'd they pick
Did
up? Oh, was it?
It's probably
Yeah,
someone really bad. That's the best part.
I forget. Let me know, and then we can move on to NBA.
Kenny Pickett.
Oh, right, duh. Yeah, they traded with the Eagles. So yeah, he's like kind of the starter that's really boring, but like I guess
Oh,
sort of.
that's
Yeah,
awful if they let
that's
him
awful.
start.
I think you want to lose this year though. Like lose one more year at least. You have the draft picks now. You can get an even better one. You can have 2 top 10 for all we know next year. So
Yeah, and I don't know much about next year's class, but it seems like this year's class was very like there's a few guys at the top, then there's some other
yeah,
solid guys, but like people like need work. Like
yeah. Hey, next week I want to do a over unders for teams, and
nice.
we take our favorite. I already love the Broncos next year. I think we should throw on them to win the AFC West.
I like them to make the playoffs.
Their defense is probably better than the Chiefs, and I'd say their offense, with the exception of Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I like that team. I do. I don't think they have any holes. They drafted a stud corner to put next to Patrick Surtain. They need like a running back, but they'll get that tomorrow. All right, NBA. I just realized actually how that Knicks Pistons game ended. Holy shit, you guys almost fucking blew that.
Yeah, we tried really hard to.
Holy shit, yeah. Um, Good job though.
Thank
Two
you.
one.
Two
Yeah.
one.
I threw on the Cavs to win it all at 5-1. I think if they get by Boston and win the East, they play OKC. They're the more like experienced team with like the same amount of talent. Is kind of how I look at it. I think for them to get there though, it's going to be important that Boston plays the Knicks and has like a really gritty Northeast series and wears the fuck out of them. So go Knicks. I want them to win the series, even though the
Nice.
Pistons is a cool story.
Pistons is a cool story. They had their story. They had their home playoff game. Today was pretty bread and butter. Wouldn't be shocked if the Pistons win Game 4, but I think the Knicks are starting to show that they're just the better team.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
when
they have
Cat
way more
and
talent.
Brunson, I mean, it's just you have Cat, Brunson, and OG and Josh Hart, who hasn't even had a good game yet, and then Mikal Bridges, who literally forgot how to play basketball this year. It's incredible. They're just better. They're more
Yeah, they
experienced.
are better.
Cade Cunningham is incredible. All props to him. I hope that New York doesn't start booing him and making him the next Trae Young because he would
Yeah,
be a really scary guy to go against in the future. But they're not there yet. The Knicks move on. The problem with the Knicks is they beat everybody all year by confident margins except for 3 teams: the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Celtics. And I think it's hard to argue, you can throw the Lakers in the mix
yeah,
now, that there aren't 3 better teams in the league. So
yep.
I'm not sure how much of a fight the Knicks can put up against the Celtics.
Yeah, it does feel like those 3 teams for sure, with the exception of the Lakers, and I'd say the Clippers too. I sprinkled on them to win it all. I think, what's the score to that game? It's probably over. They were up by like 20 going to the fourth
Yeah,
against the
they ended up
Nuggets.
they won by 34.
Oh my God, the Nuggets look dead. right? They like shouldn't have been in those games in 1 and 2. They went 1-1. It goes to LA and they get blown out. So the Nuggets are dead. They got to figure shit out because Jokic is still the best player in the world. But yeah, I like the frisky Clippers, man. One thing I want to talk about with the NBA was actually I don't know why, but I've been getting so many flashbacks to the Kawhi shot like this week. It's been I don't know why. That was such a
That's incredible.
and 2023 NLCS. It's like all of a sudden I just like wanted to remember some of my worst moments. Anyways, Kawhi dropped 39 in game 2. How many did he have tonight?
I think him and James Harden were pretty even, actually. James Harden
Dude,
started off with like 15 in the first.
that duo works. I mean, James is James Harden, but like Kawhi looked like prime Kawhi. And that is, people forget how incredible prime Kawhi is. I mean, it is the easiest step back ever. He's obviously an elite defender, but yeah, Bill Simmons talked about it a lot this week. He was like, it's just the evolution of Kawhi, like when he played LeBron and he was just like the defensive guy to being like one of the best bucket getters we've ever seen is pretty insane. I love Kawhi.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you look at just the stats without even telling you the people. It's hard when 4 out of your starting 5 goes 21, 11, and 6,
Mm.
19 and 9, 29 and 6,
Mm.
23 and 1, and then the other guy, who's your 5th guy who played the least amount of minutes, still goes 6, 4, and 8.
Yeah.
So you've got
Yeah.
Kawhi dropping 21, Zubac's dropping 19,
Yeah.
rebound
He's
short of a
30.
double-double.
He's
The
a
Heat,
top he's like a top 5 center in the league, I think.
he was most improved player this year. He
Yeah,
has
he's
been
just
incredible.
extremely consistent. Yeah, I like the Clippers. I sprinkled on them, man. I think so. You said it too today. Like I think that is a bad matchup for OKC. That's
Yeah.
like that feels like one of the most experienced, well-coached teams under Ty Lue going against like the team that's dominated all year, but it's the second round of the playoffs and you are the youngest team in the league too. So I think it probably goes like 6 or 7, and that's an awesome series. I don't know, maybe this is recency bias. This just feels like a really good NBA playoffs. This was maybe one of the worst NBA regular seasons we've had in a while, and it feels like the switch has flipped in a crazy way. Like just the talent across these teams and like the different types of matchups. Like let's envision the second round real quick because I mean Knicks Celtics is self-explanatory. Like I'm gonna watch every game and be glued, right? And then you got the Cavs against who's the fourth opponent?
Pacers.
Pacer. Okay, so that one sucks. But
The Pacers are playing really good basketball.
Cavs will win. Right.
They're in the same division. It's a rivalry. They're both in the Midwest.
Right.
I'm not saying the Cavs will lose, but that'll be a good series.
I'd say so. Pacers move on. They're probably like I guess the worst or most boring team in the next round out of both conferences. But like, dude, they still got Halliburton. They got Siakam. They got who else? There's a third.
Neesmith,
Yeah,
Nemhard.
right. They like all these teams are good and they have like name brands. Not the Heat. The Heat suck. They should be gone. Did Memphis blow the game?
Yes.
Oh wow. So yeah, get them the fuck out of here, right? So like we're seeing it. I think it's in the West. It's Clippers, OKC, and then man, this Lakers Minnesota series is pretty fucking awesome. I think it's Lakers, but I don't know, right? Like Anthony Edwards can do whatever he wants in reality. You know, I thought it was weird how in game 2 he didn't have like killer instinct. I hate you. He was smiling a lot. I think he just kind of at one point accepted that they weren't going to win that game. But if you go up 2-0 against the Lakers, you're probably going to win that series. But now it's anyone, and you're going against LeBron and Luka. So them versus probably the Warriors. I mean, if it's Lakers, Warriors, and Knicks and Celtics, just those two alone is like, what the fuck? Like that is.
And I mean, you have some bad series, but like Thunder Grizzlies sucks, Cav Heat sucks, Celtics Magic sucks. We just named the top 3 teams in the league that we started this off with. Otherwise, the other series are great. This Rockets Warriors series,
Oh, it's
both
awesome.
both games have been awesome. They actually both ended up being blowouts, but like
Yeah,
great games. I
great.
wouldn't count out the Nuggets because they're the Nuggets. Lakers Timberwolves, obviously, like, and I mean the Pacers are beating the Bucks, but the Bucks are dead. Dame is injured. They have Kyle Kuzma
Dad.
now. Like the
They have
Bucks
Doc
need to blow up
Rivers.
the team. Yeah, they
Yeah,
need to get rid of Giannis and save his
yeah,
career and blow up the team. Like the series are only going to get better. I really
yeah.
like that Cavs Pacers series. Pacers will steal a game or two for sure. Knicks Celtics. I think the Rockets can still beat the Warriors. I mean,
Totally. And even if it's Rockets Lakers, like Dylan Brooks LeBron, there you go. It's just yeah, playoffs feel
all
really
right.
sturdy.
So speed playoff bracket off the top of your head.
All
Rapid
right.
fire.
Mm,
Thunder
mm, mm.
Clippers.
Thunder. Wait. Okay, so we're doing it's next round. Fuck. I got Clippers. Wow.
Okay.
Clippers.
Back to this round. You're taking Lakers over Timberwolves,
Yes.
and you're taking Warriors over Rockets.
Yeah. Yes. I don't like
So
it though.
Lakers Warriors go.
It's the Lakers. It is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I and then Cavs Pacers. I'm taking the Cavs and Celtics Knicks. Can the Cavs beat the Celtics? You really think the Cavs can beat the Celtics?
Oh man, it depends on how much the Knicks beat him up. Like Tatum's already a little beat up, right? Like I think who was your early season prediction? Mine was Celtics, and I forget who I had in the West. I know Sean at
And
OKC. He was on
I
that.
think Sean did say he liked the Cavs though, because at
Dude,
the
Sean, yeah,
at the time we had brought Sean on like 10 games in the season, and the Cavs hadn't lost yet.
yeah, yeah.
My early season prediction was the Pelicans.
Oh, nice. You nailed that.
Yeah, they were the second team in the league to get eliminated from the playoffs.
There might get Cooper Flag.
They're in the lottery for him.
I know another team that might get Cooper Flag.
The Spurs.
Oh,
They
Sixers,
might.
dude. We have the fifth best odds.
The Spurs might. And I just think it'd be cool to see him and Wemby on the same court.
What if he went to the Sixers, though?
He's not going to the Sixers.
He might go to the Sixers, dude.
Who are the top 3? The Hornets,
top
Wizards,
3,
and
Jazz.
Pelicans?
Hornets, Wizards, Jazz.
Hmm.
And then it goes, I think 4 is Pelicans, and then 5 is Sixers, and then 6 is
I
like
think the
Raptors.
Wizards are going to get him. I think that's my
think-
luck that I get
I
to
think
like
DC
watch Ovechkin break the
Yeah.
record for goals, and then I get to watch Cooper Flag.
I think Wizards are definitely due for that to happen. I think DC's a good market for that to happen, and I think that would make a lot of sense. I think Philly makes a lot of sense for a lot of the same reasons, but I doubt it happens. Now,
I'd honestly be okay with him going to Philly because he could totally take the next role of like being a star with the Sixers that just can't get it done because he kind of seems like
Yeah,
a
and then you
soft
could
little
go-
loser.
and you could go back to Duke in the Final Four this year and be like, oh, see, like it's just been his whole career.
I can hate him. I want to hate him. He's so
Yeah.
likable. I want to hate him. And he's a loser.
No, yeah, I was thinking about that today. Like, I was thinking about if he got drafted, I'd make like a cool Instagram post and be like, "Oh my God, we got him!" And then just in parentheses be like, "This means I have to be invested for like 15 more years, and they're gonna break my heart so many more times." Like the Sixers are just the worst. But yeah, Cooper Flag would be sick. They'd probably dump Paul George and like try and make it work with Embiid, and then Embiid would complain a lot, and it would create a lot of storylines. I'm in. Sign me up.
That's
So yeah,
incredible.
give me all right, so Lakers Clippers, Battle of LA. I bet on the Clippers because I like the value, but I'm going Lakers. And then Celtics Cavs. I think I like the Cavs. I just think I'm gonna be a Cavs guy now. I hate the Celtics, so that helps. But yeah, give me the Cavs. I think a lot of people will bet on it to be Lakers Celtics at that point, and holy shit, my 140-1 future for Lakers to beat Celtics is wow. But it's probably not going to be that simple. So give me the Cavs, give me the Lakers. Hey, that's a cool finals, right? LeBron's last finals ever, probably. Got you know, props to him if he makes another. I'll say it's probably his last. If he beats Cleveland, right? Like, what does that do to Cavs fans? Like, that is so. Yeah, that would be crazy.
And if
Or if
Cleveland
Cleveland
beats
beats him,
him,
yeah. I mean,
uh,
then that really affects his legacy. Like, actually, if he loses another finals and it's to the team that he grew up with, and that would be like the only other finals that he didn't. Yeah, yeah. So that props it. Good job, NBA. You're kind of back. I have a lot of things to talk about.
yeah, they only have to produce storylines for 2 months a year, and the
Right.
storylines are so good that we are able to
No,
overlook a shitty 6 month season.
it's really like 3 months and 4 months if you count the trade deadline month, because like the NBA free agency is always electric. Like the NBA is just
Right.
like story. Like that's what I
And
realized.
that's when
Like,
it starts. They've
yeah,
10 out of 15 teams make the playoffs. So
right.
nobody
It's
has to
bullshit.
try
It's such bullshit. They got to fix
until the
that
trade
ASAP.
deadline. Right. You got to the trade
ASAP.
deadline, you pick up your pieces that you need that you figured out you didn't have throughout the season, and then you win enough games to at least get into the play-in if you're a team in the West.
Yeah.
And
And stop trying to compete with the NFL. Like, just, you're not going to win. Stop trying to take over the broadcasting nights. Like, just do what you do best. Make the regular season a little bit more competitive, and you're the second best sport in America still. It's that simple. That's what I got in basketball. What's your final prediction?
I also really like the Lakers. I like the storyline. I don't think that OKC has the experience, but I do think OKC will be able to handle the Clippers. I like the Clippers and I like the experience and I like the way they're playing, but OKC is fucking so
If
good at
it's
basketball.
OKC Lakers, I like OKC, I think.
Yeah, I was texting Chris, who's one of the bigger, LeBron fans. If he had the ability and time to, he'd probably make the funny reels too. Uh, and the songs and all of that bullshit. And I threw a Lakers future, a Lakers to make the Western Conference Final future. I think I would probably put a paycheck if I could have found it on the Lakers to make the Western Conference Finals, which would mean beating the Timberwolves in this series and then taking care of either the Warriors or Rockets.
Yeah.
I do think OKC is intimidating, and it seems like they, fell short last year when they were really good. They got even better. Everyone is another year better. Chet is completely different player from where he was last year.
Hartenstein's been awesome.
Oh my god, I miss that guy.
Yeah, yeah, he's sturdy. Yeah, so all right, Lakers, and who's in the
I'll
East?
say I think my finals is Lakers Celtics.
Love it, love it. Who is upset about that? It's just
You can't
it's
be.
Lakers Celtics. It's Lakers Celtics,
If
folks.
it's Celtics anybody else, I'm pissed. But at least I get to watch the Lakers try and beat them.
All right, Lakers Celtics, Cavs Lakers. I want to see LeBron win again. I mean, and hey, this has been a pretty crazy sports year. I texted you this after Rory too, by the way. I was like, what's next? LeBron wins a championship. Like, it has to keep going. It has to keep going. And then in the NHL, Ovi wins the championship. Congrats to Ovi on breaking the goal record in the NHL, passing Wayne Gretzky. Before you get to your experience, since you were at the stadium, I just wanted to give you a quick Ovi story, if I could.
Go for it.
My first hockey game. I'm living in Virginia at the time where I was born, Fredericksburg, about an hour. What would you say? Hour south of
Hour and a
DC?
half.
Yeah. We take the train up. He's taking me to Flyers Caps, and my dad, that is, and he's telling me on the train about this new prodigy that the Caps just drafted. This new stud. He's going to be like the next big thing, and we're seeing one of his first games, son. It's his rookie year, and his name was Alexander Ovechkin. And as a 24-year-old living in Denver, doing my big boy job and shit, he just broke the NHL scoring record. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool.
Nice.
Anyways, what was your experience like?
It I mean, the whole season has been incredible, and the Caps are truly they have an incredible fan base. They're probably the most loyal fan base out of all the DC sports. They ride out no matter what. The team was better this year. They barely made the playoffs last year. They started off on fire. They ended up winning the East. Ovechkin's obviously got the chance to break the record. If he continues doing what he's been doing, he'll do it. He gets injured. As soon as he came back from injury, we were selling out every single game. It was incredible. Once it got to 5 goals, Gretzky was in the building for every single game. Like, we were there for every step of the ride. My favorite part is, and I've thought it's been so cool all season, all the Europeans, and I'm sure I've shared this story before, all the Europeans around, like, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to be telling this story, but good thing nobody listens to our podcast. Sometime before the game, they go to this little open area on the event floor, and they just kick around a soccer ball, and they just play keep up. And he is the most competitive. Like, you can just tell this dude is a competitor. Like, they're playing keep up, and he is, like, fucking rocketing this thing at other people's heads and shit. And it's like, he doesn't care what the game is. He wants to win. It's so awesome. He had a video with Pat McAfee a week or two ago. I think I may have sent it to you. I may not have. And he was like, before we start, meet everybody. And, like, he's fucking almost 40 years old, and he's got guys that were born the year he came into the league. And he's like, this is Joey and Doggo and Money and Flipper, and, like, he knows all their nicknames, and, like, it's so fucking cool. And, like, I've never met the guy. I've walked by him and I've said hey, and that's it. But, like, you can tell he's just an awesome fucking person, and it's so cool because obviously I'm working, so I'm not always watching the game. I was watching when he tied it, and then obviously he broke it in New York. You could hear from my office, like, when there was a goal, you could hear the cheer. And then when there was an OV goal, you knew it was OV because it was just so much louder. Everyone's on their feet all game. It's fucking incredible. And I agree. The storylines this year have been unreal.
So cool.
Great storylines with the three-peat of the Chiefs. They don't get it. The Eagles get their revenge. Florida Gators obviously have incredible storylines. Gator boys stay hot. Go back to the 07, 08. You've
Gator
got
boys
Rory.
Stay hot.
You've got Ovi. You've got Rory. You've got LeBron. Like, it just seems like one of those years where, like, storylines are going to take over, and, like, movies and TV shows, meh. But, like, we got fucking sports. So, I've got the futures on the Caps. I've got the futures on the Lakers. I haven't parlayed it yet, so I will do that immediately after this podcast.
Nice.
Ovechkin is cool. Is he the greatest hockey player ever? No, which is interesting. But he is the greatest scorer ever, and it's unreal.
I want to place a really big bet. I want to, like, really big. Here's why. So life's been pretty crazy, right? I've been traveling a lot for work, and I've taken advantage of that and gone to visit my friends in Scottsdale. After my Orlando conference, I went up to Gainesville and just wanted to feel the vibes of campus after being national champions. It is different. There's a different smell in the air. It's an actual true scientific fact. So that was cool. You know, saw Solks and Jimmy, who you referenced, and I slept on their couch for a couple nights. Justin Clark. It was like their second to last week in Gainesville because they're super seniors and all on their way out. So it was great fun. It's good to see those guys.
Awesome.
Worked from the room, went out to the bars in Midtown. Was way too old to be there. But the younger guys were happy to see me because, you know, it's just saying the name Jaws is fun to them, I think. Went back to the house, did the walk back from Mid. That's all I really wanted to do once was, like, just have a really drunk walk back to the house. We actually met some ACRs, 3 black guys, and we were like, hey, you want to come to the guy? Like, you live there? I was like, nope. It just vibed with us in the courtyard. We essentially forced people out of their will to come hang out with us. As we were going in, we yelled at the Pike House.
Nice.
I went back to college for one night, and it didn't hurt anyone. So don't get mad at me. Just give me the one night. I went on the
I
roof.
support it.
I know you do. I know you do, Mike. Obviously you would. Peed on the roof, walked into my old room 11. Both of those guys were asleep. Their door was locked. And I was like, bro, come on. So I yelled really loud and I walked out and I said bye to Fede probably, for a long time. Because I thought about it. I'm not going back to Gainesville unless it's a game day. Like, I'm not going to go back a random week anymore. I don't have, like, someone to stay with, right? Like, they were my last, like, really cycle of being able to stay.
But if you go to a game day, you're going to go to a tailgate at the house.
Oh, no, no,
No?
totally, totally. I'm just saying, like, the way that I did it this time was the last time I got to do it like that. But
Correct.
yes, I
Yeah.
will be back at the Topeka house for sure. Like, but it'll only be on game days that I go back to Gainesville.
True.
Yeah, or, some event. But anyways, uh, so my flight is Friday night, and I'm going. This is my fourth stop of the trip. I did 2 weeks out of a suitcase, right? I'm going to Indianapolis because it's Easter weekend, and that's where my dad's side of the family, who's originally from Philly, lives. So we go to see grandparents, right? Friday night's my flight. I go to Gainesville Regional Airport, which, as you know, extremely convenient. And keep in mind, like, this flight's on work because I went to Orlando for the conference and I'm flying out, my returning flight. So didn't pay for the flight. Got, in that case, to do it out of Gainesville instead of like Orlando. So get to the airport, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I've always heard about it happening to people, and I was like, that would be sick. And they were offering $1,500 to change flights, a flight that I didn't have to pay for. So I took that immediately. It wasn't even like flight credit. They gave me a Visa like gift card, which is so sick.
Shut
Uh,
up.
Dude, they bought me a hotel downtown, like the Hampton. They bought me an Uber there. So I stayed one more night. I didn't go out or anything because I was gassed, but I took Jimmy and Joe out to Hibachi and I gassed the boys up. They're broke college boys. I think they really appreciated me doing that. Not
That's
not not
cool.
too not broke for too much more time. They both have great jobs out of college. A very replicative team as far as our friends. We're all idiots, but everyone seems to be doing well and on the right track.
Oh, yeah.
So that was sick. That's why I asked about the bet, dude. I want to take 1,000 of that, deposit through the gift card, and double it. What are we thinking?
Let's
Tell
look
me
at
no.
tomorrow.
Tell me not to do it, please.
What's
No, it can't be a
tomorrow?
day bet. It's got to be something bigger. It's got, like, I'm thinking like the PGA Championship almost, or like the U.S. Open. Maybe I'm getting good value on Lando to win the Drivers' Championship right now? Question mark. Or even Max. Like, do I take Max at plus money? We'll think
We
about
need
it. We'll
something
think about it.
good. We'll
We'll
think of
think about it.
something.
We'll think about it. All right. Yeah. Before that, I was Palm Springs. It's been crazy. I don't have anything much coming up, which is nice. You got any trips coming up?
Doing something for Memorial Day weekend. I've got a few options. Two different spots at the Jersey Shore and Liverpool, England.
Ooh, wow. Wait. Like you're gonna do both?
No, I have to decide between those two.
Oh. Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, one's a drive
What
and one's not in the country.
what weekend is that again?
The date of the parade when Liverpool will be
No, no, no.
celebrating
I
their
want to know
victory,
about Memorial Day weekend.
May 26th, I think.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I didn't know you wanted to know the date.
Well, yeah,
The cooler part of the weekend is on the following Monday, which obviously England doesn't celebrate Memorial Day weekend,
Right,
but I'll still
right.
get the days off work, so I'm
No,
going to
yeah,
reap the benefits.
dude, that would be sick if you go.
Liverpool will win the Premier League this Sunday with a win against Tottenham. Then the parade, the last day of the Premier League will be March 25th. Liverpool will play at
Mm,
home to Crystal Palace. Tickets will be
mm.
way too expensive.
Oh
So my
yeah.
buddy and I will go to a Liverpool bar
Oh
and
yeah.
be proper scousers for the day
Yeah.
and then go to the parade on Monday.
This sounds like you're trying to make it like just convenient, easy trip. What's a flight to London look like? Is it like
It's
four?
like 700.
Yeah. Round trip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
I
I
just
would do
opened up a
that.
new credit card and That
Easy.
way, I have to spend a certain amount of money in the next six
Yeah.
months. And then once I spend that money, I get a shit ton of miles.
Yeah.
So I pay for this flight, but then like the next flight's free. So it's like buy one, get one with a new credit card.
And who knows? You might end up going to the airport and getting money for changing your flights the next morning.
And then they'll give me money and I'll be like, hey, work, sorry, flight got canceled. But little do they know, I got $1,500 to stay
Oh,
another night.
I like it. And if you stay Memorial Day weekend in Jersey, though, I would boardwalk. That sounds fun.
Oh, you would come?
Oh yeah, I've actually said I wanted to do Jersey for Memorial Day weekend. I mean, it's
Jersey Shore, like Brick, New Jersey. That's what we would do.
brick. Yes, brick. We're going to. My biggest realization when we were at the Sphere when Ethan Coakley was putting me in a fucking washing machine was that I'm eventually going to move to Brick, New Jersey, and I've never been. But Ethan told me that I have to go, but he didn't tell me that. I came to that discovery. Ethan Coakley, what a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. What a guy. Oh, this was a great pod, man.
This was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, maybe almost good that we didn't pod in a while. It just felt like we had a lot to talk about and there was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, next week we can do like over unders. We'll have more NBA and NHL playoff stuff to talk about. And we'll keep this chugging over the summer, and probably if we keep a nice consistent pod schedule with our crazy lives, in that time of year where it's only baseball, we can probably do some fun shit.
Yeah, I've been seeing this one guy on Instagram that does a Nerfie each day, except he adds $100 each day. So he starts at 100 and then it's like 100, 200. So now we're on day 25. Like he's going
What's
to
the
wake up
point
and
of
put
that?
2,500 on a Nerfie.
There's no logic behind that. It's just every day you're just gonna bet more. Like there's no,
Yeah.
that doesn't make, like
And
the
the
31st
Nerfie
day is so important.
is usually minus 150. So it's favored. It should happen. Like
Right.
they're down like fucking $8,000 or something. It's
Oh, I
stupid.
think the Nerfies have been bad too. I think like it's been a
So
Yerfie year.
bad.
Yeah.
The Mariners, I think, are on 11 straight year fees right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Just
So
them or
yeah,
like in the games they're in?
no, just them.
Oh my God.
Like
That's
literally
crazy.
their half.
That's nuts.
So we can definitely
That's
do some cool
nuts.
baseball stuff. We'll definitely wake
Yeah.
up and do a parlay of the day. It's crazy because I thought about taking a break from sports.
Dude, same.
Betting.
Same.
I
Totally.
was like, dude, I've been on a roller coaster.
Yes.
Vegas, fucking lost a lot of money on the Super Bowl, made like pretty much all of it back if you include Vegas, like besides the table games.
Yeah.
And then I've been going even crazier with the national championship, hit a shit ton of futures that like paid for that trip and some, which was pretty fucking
Oh yeah.
sweet. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to bet on like baseball.
No.
Because like there was like 2 or 3 weeks after that before the playoffs hit.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So I chilled. And the playoffs started coming and I was watching baseball, so I felt like I knew what I was doing. So now I'm like fully back and like I can't imagine not doing a parlay of the day tomorrow. So
I know. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I think one a day.
I was the same way. Dude, yeah. I've just been throwing my unit on one parlay a day. Today I got a little bit greedy because of the NFL draft. Don't think I hit a single NFL draft bet.
I hit my Knicks. What was my parlay? Knicks and Panthers. Easy.
Knicks Panthers. Easy money. Easy. Yeah, the 2-leggers are great. I just got to stick to like 2-leggers. Those 6-leggers would have been nice, but yeah. Yeah, man. All right. Well, Cooper flag to the Sixers.
Knicks to beat the Pistons.
That'd be cool.
Rocket Life.
We're sick.
I mean, this was really like we got some emotion out today. You almost cried. You almost made me cry.
Life lesson. Some good monologues. Yeah, let's make a couple reels out of this for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It might be a tough listening day given it's a Friday and whatnot, but we'll get our consistent 3. Shout out Sean. Shout out Jenkins. Shout out you know who you are. Connor Terry. There's a list. But yeah, like, dude, let's get a few emotional parts of this and maybe go viral again. Who knows?
I'm down for that. Why not us?
Why not us? We even talked about doing some streams soon. NFL draft would have been cool because we were just chopping it up. So Cool, man. More in store. Why not us?
Why not us?
It could just be us.
I think it's becoming
I
us.
think it's us. All right. We'll see you, folks.